With that, we're shifting our attention to more breaking updates coming into a shocking incident that has been caught on camera at the Delhi University. A PhD scholar can be seen assaulting a law faculty professor as he entered the building. The accused has been identified as Shubham Singh. He has now been suspended. This is the CCTV visual from the spot. DU has also formed a 3-member committee to probe the incident. The Democratic Teachers Front says that this is the 3rd such incident and has called the suspension inadequate, accusing the university of a slow response to such campus violence. My colleague Kritika is joining us on the broadcast with the details. Kritika, the entire incident has also been caught on camera. What are the details of the incident? What led to this? And why are the teachers unhappy even after the suspension? Because they say that this is not the first such incident and the university is not taking such issues seriously.
Well, absolutely. That is the allegation that the teachers are now hurling at the Delhi University administration and the Vice-Chancellor also in specific. So the incident is of yesterday morning. We're seeing that as far as the CCTV is concerned, there is a student who has now been identified as Shubham Singh. He is waiting outside the particular building of the law faculty. And as soon as the professor walks in, he slaps the professor, he assaults him also repeatedly, pushes him around. There are also, of course, other students and possibly other faculty members who are trying to intervene and separate the two. There is an argument also which is breaking out, and the student first leaves, the Shubham Singh leaves the space for a while, but then later again charges at the professor as well. All of that has been caught on CCTV, and that did prompt the immediate suspension of Shubham Singh as well, as per the orders of the proctor of Delhi University. Later, the proctor has also set up a 3-member independent inquiry committee into the same, and this committee is supposed to probe the matter and submit its report.
Okay, all right. Kritika, thank you for joining us with all those details. In fact, we have more breaking updates now coming in. The Delhi University has suspended the PhD scholar Shubham Singh over the misconduct, like we mentioned. The university has also constituted an independent 3-member inquiry committee headed by Professor Rajiv Gupta to investigate the matter and submit a report in this regard. This is even as the teachers are not very happy with the kind of action that has been taken by the university, saying a mere suspension is not enough. With that, let's get you more breaking updates coming in. The US President Donald Trump has cited India's electoral system as an example while pushing for stricter voter identification rules in the United States. Trump also referenced his conversations with the Chief Election Commissioner Ganesh Kumar, coming amid a political debate over EVMs and electoral integrity. This India reference is now drawing attention as Trump seeks support for his proposed Save America Act and changes to the US voting system. But before we get you more details, here is what the US President has said. He has taken to Truth Social and he says earlier this month, India's Chief Election Commissioner Ganesh Kumar asked our administration, how can you have elections in the US without a valid photo ID? India's last election had, and he quotes a number of voters that India has had, speaking about the scale of the elections in India, going on to say less than 1% voted by mail, and every single voter had to have a valid photo identity document. We need to pass the Save America Act now, and he has signed off. This is his message on social media, and remember, this comes amid a massive political battle that's playing out in the United States with Trump pushing for voter IDs. Let's go across to senior consulting editor Srinjoy Chaudhary on the broadcast with us. And Srinjoy, the United States has been having a conversation about having voter IDs for voters, and there are many in the United States who seem to be opposed to it. But now you have the US President citing data from India to speak about how important it is to have photo IDs in the voter rolls, an issue which has been spoken about a lot in India as well.
President Trump has had a grouse against the American electoral process for a long time. He believes that he should have won the 2020 election, and it was stolen by people who did not have the right identification and basically were not American citizens. Now, as a result, he hasn't forgotten that defeat. And he wants voter ID cards or proper identification systems for all voters in America. Now, how that is difficult to do is hard to see, because even in India, which is much larger, has a much larger voting population, everyone has a voter ID card. Now, for America, which is a wealthier country, which has a smaller population, a smaller number of voters, it can be possible. Now, why that hasn't been the case, or whether it is such a problem, is really for Americans to decide. Is the American voting system in place? That's a question Americans will have to decide and then take suitable action. But yes, you're right. President Trump has said that the chief election commissioner has actually asked the American administrators, how is it that you have an electoral system which does not have a provision for voter ID cards for every possible voter? That point has been made by the Indian side.
Absolutely. The Safeguard American Voter Eligibility America Act, or the SAVE Act, as Trump has said, is the need of the hour for the United States, and he has cited data from India and the electoral process of India to make his point. In fact, we have more breaking updates coming in. The fresh political intervention from the U.S. Ambassador to India, Sergio Gore. He has also reacted to President Donald Trump's claims on voter identification in India, going on to say that what Trump is saying is absolutely correct, backing the proposed Save America Act, or the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility America Act, which is a proposed United States federal law that will require individuals to provide documentary proof of U.S. citizenship when registering to vote in the federal election. So Sergio Gore going on to add another layer to the ongoing political debate over voter ID and the election integrity. So while this is a very important conversation in the United States, Srinjoy, in India as well, there have been many questions on the Election Commission and around the world. And you know, this is also an endorsement of the fair way in which the elections are conducted in the country, which has been cited not just in the United States, but the elections or the electoral process in India is cited across the world.
There is no doubt that having an electoral system in India would probably be one of the most difficult, because think of the sheer size, think of India's population, think of the number of voters, think of the differences in of various kinds. Also, the economic issues. There are people from different sections of society. Some are not very well off, yet all of them, all Indian citizens above the age of 18 have a vote. To ensure that the voting list is absolutely firm and correct is a huge task. And there is an election commission which manages to do it. The fact that India could hold the elections in 1952, just a few years after independence, for which the efforts would have had been made for about 2 years, is a sign of how firm the Indian democratic process is, because there has never been too many questions about India's democratic system as a whole. You can always argue a small case, but at the end of the day, from 1952 to today, last Lok Sabha elections was in 2024. Not many people have ever questioned the election process, really.
Absolutely. Srinjoy, thank you for joining us with all those details, and it will be interesting to see what the reactions back home are going to be, how the political leaders in the country are going to react to this as well. Because remember, the Election Commission has been in the line of fire in a lot of politics here. Chinju, thank you for joining us with all those details. With that, it's time for us to slip into a very quick break here. But before we go into a break, let's tell you that when you are on the move and you want to catch the news, you can always log on to timesnownews.com and you can catch all the latest updates. The biggest headline, of course, is Trump bringing in CEC Ganesh Kumar into the entire US election battle, making an example out of India and speaking about the electoral process in India. But there are other big stories as well that you can catch on timesnownews.com, including the Jharkhand protest that has now finally ended, with Devendra Mahto breaking his fast after the government has agreed to much of the demands that the students had. All the details of the story, how the breakthrough happened and much more, all of it on timesnownews.com.